Truthseekers, it's David Shilcon here. There's a show you need to be aware of called Griftbusters. Their job is to bust cons and expose liars and con artists. Like, for example, someone who would go on a channel, a little like Gaia TV, and create a show around a man who hangs out with blue chickens and goes into the inner earth to hang out with hot chicks. Maybe this guy would say that he had been in a secret space program, picked because he's an intuitive empath and likes to go on spaceships and go into crazy situations with various ETs. I would never be on a show like that because it's clearly crazy. Or how about creating an essentially ascending ascension course for $333 with no guarantee of actual ascension following the course? I would never do anything like that. Or what about setting up a GoFundMe for a whistleblower who knows all about the deep state and claims that they took his house away, even though none of that could be proven in any way, shape, or form? I would never do anything like that because it's clearly lying. Or how about promising to build hover cars in 12 months after purchasing a disused aircraft hangar with your essentially ascending ascension course money? I would never do anything like that because I'm an honest guy. But these Griftbusters could certainly sniff out a con artist. I hope you guys pay close attention to Griftbusters, unless, of course, they're talking about me, in which case, I hope they use my good side.
Hey guys, and welcome to Griftbusters 8. Looking forward to doing this show again, and like we said before, this is now a monthly show, and it usually is at 9 p.m. UK time, first Wednesday of every month. So a few apologies to start off with. Apologies about the delayed start tonight and postponing for an hour. And apologies for the last episode of Griftbusters that we had some audio issues throughout. So hopefully you won't have any issues this time round. But if we do, guys, please mention it in the comments. And if we're not paying attention, if the moderators can directly message us, so we can try and fix it on the stream. The last show was great, even with the issues, and it was watchable, but it was a bit of a shame. But yeah, on to this episode, and welcome everybody, and welcome to the panel. Today we are here with our regulars. We've got Beer Man, Will Bird of Cold Beer Confessional or Cold Beer Condemned.
What's up, man? Welcome,
What's
everybody.
Up?
I'll try to keep the audio going this time.
Will's our producer. He does a fantastic job. Last time the audio issues were on my end, so and partially the delay problems were on my end this time round. So apologies from me. But yeah, Will, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And we've got Jen from Intel Lady Channel.
Hello.
Hello. Justice.
Yo.
Justice. And today we've got our a special guest today, Stephen Cambian from Truthseekers channel. Hello, Stephen.
Hi, good to be here. Glad to finally get here.
Glad to have you on. I must say your laugh is infectious.
Well, I'll try to laugh a lot tonight then.
That's right.
Yeah. Please do. We do like to have a laugh here, so please make sure that you don't hold back on that. So to start the show off today, guys, let's talk a little bit about Simon Parkes. So I don't know if you guys have seen, or the audience has seen. If you guys haven't, then go back and watch my last two videos I did around Simon Parkes, where on bringing to light some of the interaction he had with a lady called Marie Kiali, and some of the, for want of a better word, abuse or
sex creeper stuff.
Yeah, you could say that, Stephen. Some of the weird things, make me your master, type stuff that was put across there. And I just want to say, I've had some reaction to that from that I will share in a minute. But from what I understand, from what we're being told, not just because of those videos, there's a lot of things happening and stirring up within the Connecting Consciousness, which is the voluntary organization that he runs. There is many coordinators stepping down from their positions. There's many coordinators being fired from their voluntary positions, and not just around those videos. There is a lot of people asking questions and being told that they can't ask questions and being removed from their posts, from their positions in as coordinators, and some of the members being removed as well. So they're this stuff that all of us here today and on the panel do bring into light some of these things that these people are not quite who they say they are, or their behaviors are not love and light as they project. Spiritual guide. These people pretending that they're the guides, spiritual guides and things like this. Not just talking Simon Parkes here. So the reason I'm explaining this is just because the impact that people like us, when we bring to light these things, people do listen. So the Griftbusters show in particular is a great platform to bring people like us together and have these conversations. So after saying that, I want to share a few things if I can. So about 4 months ago, there was a video done with a huge panel, and Stephen, you were on it, weren't you? It was the hidden truth behind Simon Parkes.
Simon Parkes, yeah,
that's right. And if while I'm loading this up, you can remind us of who was on the panel.
Well, we had a treasure trove of people who have covered Simon Parkes and some of his ridiculous nonsense in the past. We had CW Channer, we had Intel Lady, we had you, M Seeker of Truth. We had Kevin. Oh, were you? I thought that you were. I'm sorry.
Invited me.
Oh, I'm sorry. You should have been invited. And we had Kevin Moore. I apologize. So we have Kevin Moore as well. And we have the Althea Project as well.
The Alethea Project, or TAPS, as we know him. Yeah.
Yes, and what the show detailed is basically I would say, sexual abuse or sexual improprieties that Simon Parkes took part in with somebody that was paying him for a healing session. And it should be noted that Simon Parkes, there's lots more women, and many of them won't come forward. But on that show, we had a whistleblower come forward that said, I'll tell my story of the sex creeper stuff that he sent me. And, basically she was suffering from suicidal depression, and Simon Parkes was more concerned with trying to get her in bed than any kind of healing that she was paying him for. And it's good to see that more people have come forward to confirm that Simon Parkes has a problem with women. And this isn't the first that we've heard of it. There's been many mentions of it. One time he blamed his alien father for improper, communications to women and things that he had taken part in with some of the women followers.
As Marie said, it wasn't me. Daddy did it. Yeah.
He blamed his alien father. Yes. But it's good to see more women coming forward, because that just confirms that, Simon Parkes would like people to believe that, people, we're from the deep state or the CIA and we're just trying to discredit him and his information.
MI5,
so MI5 or so, we're some kind of government shills that are just trying to discredit him because he has such wonderful, accurate information. And that's nonsense. I believe he's got problems with women, severe problems with women. And that's evidenced by the number of women that have come forward telling similar stories about what he does with and to them.
I mean, many of these women, so there are some that have come out publicly. Many of these women are still worried, especially with Simon Parkes loving to throw around threats of legal action and expulsion from the community, things like that. And but yeah, mainly the legal stuff. He's that's all he's talking about at the moment is how I won this case, and I don't do social, I don't do trial by social media. But at the end of the day, as I said to Marie, the truth is my shield. The truth is her shield. We wouldn't be playing with fire if we didn't think that we were wearing fire retardant protective material in terms of it's the truth, and
that's the best defense for a libel or slander
absolutely
lawsuit is that you told the truth.
So what I wanted to bring up here, I'm going back and I didn't want to make this a big thing going back to that video, but I mean that video, please watch it. It was called Hidden Truth Behind Simon Parkes, and Kevin Moore and the Alethea Project, who do some great work and have been covering this, have been covering Simon Parkes. I mean, Alethea Project's been doing it for years. Kevin Moore is doing a Mark Richards docu-series and now has got entangled in looking into the connection with Simon Parkes there, and he got us all together, and it was it was a great show. And it revealed some stuff. But the reason I'm bringing you back to there is because I wanted to share this with you. So during the show, the Alethea Project, or TAPS, he shared some audio files that were leaked from the CC members' meetings, which were very interesting in themselves.
Great stuff.
It was great stuff. And so that was exposed. The Alethea Project brought that to our attention. And what happened after that 4 months ago, I've not shared this on any other, I don't think, any other of the shows that I've done, but a email was sent out to CC members. And let's see if I can get this full screen so I can see it better.
Whose browser, though?
Dear all, please be aware that the following individual has infiltrated at least one of our Zoom meetings, masquerading as a member. His handle is M-Seeker of Truth, although not his name. I think it means although that's not his name. This individual joins under false names and then records meetings to use in a twisted manner so as to discredit the target of their evil lies. In my mind, they are agents of the deep state and have targeted many decent people with their twisted podcasts. Please keep an eye out on your Zooms, and if spotted, remove him immediately. No interaction, and let me know as soon as you can. That's come from Rebecca Parkes. Becky Parkes is
love and light, guys, love and light.
Love and light, right? And then not that you need any further, but just to show my ugly mug that they sent around everywhere, and this. This was me in the I couldn't get my something, there was audio issues or whatever, so it was just me on my camera in front of the green screen. I was partaking, but the leaked audio stuff had nothing to do with me, but because it was on my channel, and because a lot of the the collective views came from people watching on my channel. I guess that's the reason. Instead of
so they blamed you.
They blame me for infiltrating their meetings.
I sent them much better photos of you. Like I sent them the one in front of your house, the one with your address on it, you in your car, and I think a family reunion photo. They used this one.
He's a joker, isn't he? Right. Okay. So yeah, look, they've put out this look. I look like a rabbit caught in headlights. Like it wasn't me, you know. Look at me. I look guilty as hell, but I'm not. I'm innocent, of this. I'm innocent of many things, But I do investigation into these people who I believe are taking advantage of vulnerable people, these grifters, these scammers. This is why I do what I do and why I do this show and things like that. But this time it wasn't me. don't be sending around these emails. But I have worked with the Letha Project and Kevin Moore and all of you guys, Stephen. But yeah, that specifically wasn't me. So the reason I bring this to your attention is so these recent videos I've obviously rocked the boat, and I've been being contacted by many CC members, many ex-CC members, ex-coordinators, even current coordinators, to tell me about the storm that is stirred. Not just through those videos. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background at the moment in there. A lot of discord around, and it's great to see them imploding because of the nature of what they've been doing. In my opinion,
it's good reporting.
Well, yeah,
good reporting has some effects sometimes. Yeah.
Exactly. If you can spit out some truth that tries to be hidden, and the thing is with the Connecting Consciousness group is that any of the members will tell you about how compartmentalized it is. Like literally, you are not allowed to speak from one area zone. They're all put into groups of areas, and you're not allowed to have individual meetings across with members. You can only have your meetings within that say state in America or whatever, and if you are found to be breaking out of that compartmentalization, you could be ejected pretty quickly without much judgment from the group. And there is many people coming forward to talk about that, how much they gave to CC, and how they were unceremoniously ejected. But I bring this to your attention because after the recent videos, Simon wanted to make a statement, some damage control around myself and Marie. So I just wanted to quickly share that with you. So this was sent around CC. I'm not sure whether I don't think it was the whole of CC. Maybe it was targeted areas. But I do know that this was sent around, and quite a few people had alerted me to this. So, dear all, from Simon, the latest attack against me and CC is proof of just how desperate the deep state is in trying to stop us. M, so-called seeker of truth.
Sorry.
M, so-called seeker of truth. Some 3 years ago, when these first issues were raised, I reported this woman to the police, who agreed a crime had been committed against me. She was interviewed by London police and West Midlands police and told that she could not come anywhere physically near me and to stop her threats of violence against me, otherwise she would be arrested. In a meeting with police, I was told that they believed this woman had serious mental health issues and told me because of this, it made it difficult for them to treat her as a standard criminal. The overall advice was to totally ignore her. Now, I'll stop there just because this would not happen. I mean, yes, if someone does have serious mental health issues here in the UK, there would be barriers, and I'm well aware of this from my own my own personal experience with someone with mental health issues. If you are trying to, if you are reporting them to police, if you are putting them through the court system, etc., they have these things called, the Mental Health Act. They're sectioned in different areas of the Mental Health Act, and depending on what section they have, what the crime is, there is consideration given to the fact that they are mentally ill. Marie is not mentally ill. She has no, she has no previous documented mental illness. She has documented her her interaction with the police. She has showed videos, recordings, all sorts of evidence of her conferring with the police, them saying that Simon did contact them, but he had no evidence whatsoever, and she had tons of it. And this is why, you know, Simon, who's so happy, is red-faced right now, because this stuff happened. We show the emails in those videos. He's just trying damage control here, trying to play her off as some crazy woman, which is what he did 3 years ago. And because it's been brought into the light again, he's struggling to just play her off for some crazy woman, because a lot of care and attention was taken into reporting that story. So it goes on to say, in the recent court case that I won, as again, you know, he brings this up constantly. In this recent court case I won in high court against 2 defendants who used this woman's statements, the judge threw out their submissions, throwing out their defense. This is why the deep states have lost in a British court, are reduced to social media noise. So I guess we're the noise. Follow our lead and just ignore all of it. So I remember Charlie Ward saying the same sort of thing. Please just ignore all of it. Don't
and keep sending us money. Ignore that stuff. Just keep sending that money. Yeah.
And this last sentence is something that sort of raised my eyebrows. Very soon, CC's vision will be vindicated, and all of this nonsense washed away. Thank you for your continued support, Simon.
Love and light, love and light.
Love and lights.
Send the money.
So I just wanted to share that with you guys and with the audience. That's what's been going on, because I've not reported on it. I could have made a video, but I thought we'd start off by talking Simon Parks, talking my recent videos. I've not done a video in the last few weeks because I've been away traveling. A few people have asked where I've been. I might put out a video soon around what I've seen. I went around Northern Ireland and did some cool stuff, so that's to come. But people have been asking what's been going on with CC, so I thought I'd give that update with Simon. So what do you guys think about him saying that he's going to be vindicated soon, and his attempts of damage control then?
I mean, does anybody think he really believes it? I mean, clearly it's a show, right? But how many times can you keep saying, "Oh, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming," before people catch on?
Well, a lot of people with these mental illnesses do believe, create a what's it called, a reality that they live in, and it's very hard for you to point out that it is not true. And now, whether Simon Parks fits into that category, perhaps not. Perhaps he knows exactly what he's doing.
Well, the time aspect is interesting too, because he started with this 14th letter of the alphabet, and I even had friends and family members into conspiracies that were sending me all kinds of his videos and posts, and I said, well, before he was talking about this, that he was talking about banging cat queen aliens and having hybrid alien babies, and his mom is a Manus alien, and they were all like, no, he's a geopolitics expert. Like, he recast himself from alien contactee to expert on American deep state stuff and the 14th letter of the alphabet conspiracy and all this stuff. And when you point this out, a lot of his current followers don't know about the past stuff and the history with him, with the alien stuff, because he recast himself now as, he's some big expert, and, Trump calls him on the weekends and stuff and gives him updates. He's just deluded. I don't know how anybody believes him, but people are looking for something because they feel like at a loss, or it's a tough time, and it's all hopium what he's selling.
I have a question for all y'all talking about the background. So not just his background, but a lot of these people that do the same thing have a weird background. Even some of them, like a criminal background with children, like some of these people who are claiming to save the kids, blah blah blah. But a lot of times when I bring that up, when I put that out there, I always get, do you guys get this? That's between him and God. Like they don't care.
Yeah, like, let's excuse that child molester thing that he is involved in. Yeah, there's a famous 14th letter of the alphabet guy that's real big on the ghettos of the internet. I think BitChute and Rumble and stuff. And he's got past criminal convictions for pedophilia, for child-related sexual offenses. And you're exactly right. What he talks about is people running around saving the mole children and the adrenochrome harvesters. And I just can't believe that guy is that bold. Like, okay, you're saving these children, but you're a convicted pedophile.
So I didn't mean to change the subject, but if they're willing if they're willing to push that aside, they're going to push the alien babies aside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there is an element of one doth protest too much, and that's certainly the case where people seem to be obsessed with this sort of thing. I mean, if you look back at some of the people that I've looked at, Greg Callett, for instance, we exposed that he was a part of a sex cult that was closed down because of paedophilia, and all he went on about was human, child trafficking and stopping the royals from their human trafficking, etc. And that's what he was obsessed with. And it's almost as if you are putting on an aura of I am super obsessed against this, and don't look into my background. You've got other people like so you got Gareth Barrett and Charlie Ward, who Gareth Barrett, who was the fake King Arthur,
That's a great story.
Incredible story. Went undercover to bust this guy, and again, this leads back to these people with mental illness, perhaps, that really do believe the story out there.
I think Will hit the nail on the head with this really pertinent double-edged sword in a psychological sense, where there's only two certain types of people. One really sort of brash, egotistical person that can put themselves in a position to keep doing this. Like most people in this day and age of the internet, after doing all that weird stuff with Channel 4 and the aliens, that's national over here. You wouldn't then try and reinvent yourself, but you would just think that's not going to work. That takes a special type of person, and it also takes a special type of person, like Stephen said, someone that wants to believe it. So they hear something that plays along with the narrative that they've built in their head when they've heard a few things that go, oh, right, this is what's going to save us. Cool. They hear someone that can articulate it really well, and boom, no matter what we say about it and what their background is, ain't going to make a difference. And that, that, like you said, that does play into, people's mental health and stuff.
Yeah, when you see the mental gymnastics of some of these people, even when your dead to rights have proof of what kind of people they really are, they do these mental gymnastics. We just had this Anjali story that came crashing down badly. Her original two witnesses finally came forward and said, none of this stuff that she's been talking about for a year and a half, none of this happened. She was at her house. There's no mountain alien base. She made that all up and all this stuff. And people are still arguing with me. Well, we want to hear the tapes of the people saying this, because all we have is repeated. There is tapes. We just didn't release anything yet. But the mental gymnastics kick in right away to defend the delusion. And that's really problematic.
Exactly like Claire Hawking Uncle.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just another story that comes. You have 100% proof that she lied about all of it, based on other witnesses she cited, and the people still want to believe her, so they're going to do all these mental gymnastics to defend the delusion that they believe in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I touched on Charlie Ward and Gareth Barrett there, just to go back to that, is because Gareth tried to smear me by claiming that he had court documents that I was wanted on sex charges in
I liked it. He just boy, what a bad cut and paste job that he did too. He just copied your picture and wrote a bunch of stuff that was completely totally ridiculous.
I've been told, and I don't really want to report on it because this guy's in jail now for fraud, funnily enough. But someone close to him that known him throughout the life has reported to me all the names on that document were actually names of people in his family, children in his family, and that maybe it should be the other way around, that we should be
that might mean something.
Justice. I did, briefly mentioned it to some of you, but so I won't go into that too much. But what I'm trying to say is, one doth protest too much, and I think that might be a common theme. So going back to Simon Parkes, I thought that we'd do a bit of fan art, just to mix things up here, and we'll focus on Mr. Parkes this week.
Marvelous. Let's do it. Let's have a look.
Let's do it. Let's do the fan art for Griftbusters 8. I love this part of the show. So
Oh yes, look at that beauty. Look at her go. Look at her move. It's all in her eyes, you can see. Sorry, I can't help it.
is this,
No, that was brilliant. Carry on. You have to narrate this now.
please narrate
I'll
these.
narrate them all.
Yeah, can you narrate all of the fan art? I don't know what Animorphs is. I'm guessing it's a show or something.
Oh no, Animorphs. Actually, Animorphs was a book in the United States, and it was the first book that used wind morph and morphing technology, so you could turn yourself into a lion or an eagle. And Animorphs was. Yeah, they made it into this whole series about like a child that could turn into an eagle or a lion, and that's what Animorphs actually was. So this is a joke on that. Simon Park's turning
glad
into
you didn't
a cat.
let that go over our heads.
Yeah. Thank you for that explanation.
Sometimes it's just
without the
cultural
context,
thing,
it's still brilliant.
I remember it too.
The quote at the bottom: "I had sex with a cat."
Cat daddy. Oh Jesus Christ.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I don't understand. This creeper says he had sex with cat queen aliens, and he does streams, and there's all these cats walking around behind him. That's a little creepy. Like, I don't even want to get into it, but it's a little weird.
Daddy, what the world's most incorrigible cat taught me about life, love, and coming clean. Jackson guys. Star of Animal Planets. My eyes, I can barely, I need my glasses on, I can't see properly.
This is not a good sleepover.
My cat from hell. Just look at the beauty. Can I just say that shirt is marvelous.
It's got cat print collar, yeah.
I would wear that shirt. In fact, Caroline, who's my wardrobe lady, needs to find me a shirt like that. Marvelous.
Take notes, Caroline. At the bottom it says includes tips for raising happy, healthy cats.
I could read that.
Don't bang them. How about that? That's gross.
That's a good tip.
This is gross.
Galactic Tinder.
It's a match. Look at that beauty. Oh, good Lord. Look, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. Marvelous.
Perfect.
It's perfect.
You and Mona have liked each other.
We've done more than that, dear. We have.
Wonderful, brilliant.
Happy memories.
Swap lieutenant.
I think we might have one more. Oh no, we've got a couple more. The Alien film. Who enjoys the Alien film? Is that Ripley?
That's Ripley holding. Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh no.
Poor cat. So just a couple of great images there. Now these were sent in by from Telegram by TCI, someone that subscribes to my Telegram channel. Thank you very much. We need to give these guys a Wardy Award. There's a couple of people that are due a Wardy Award. We usually give them out on the show. We haven't done the last few shows, so I'll get on that and we'll do an award presentation of the Wardy Award, which is a little Oscar type award with Charlie Ward's face on it. The people who marvelous who have done a duty to grift busting. So TCI definitely deserves one after that show. So thank you very much. And please, guys, send in your fan art. We so enjoy it.
I got some applause keyed up, I think. Hold on. There we go. A little bit of applause. Thank you, guys.
I love that soundbite. So yeah, a bit of fan art there. There's one more thing that I wanted to broach with you guys, and it's quite a sensitive subject right now, and it's what's going on in the world right now. And Simon is not the only one to do this, but he recently came on a video and said, well, yes, it's all, it's a white hat operation, and they are ending. They're closing down biolabs and in Ukraine, and they are stopping human, child trafficking, and Putin is a white hat. So, that's going on right now, and this is quite a sensitive subject. I do understand, but does this guy not see, that children are dying in Ukraine?
Yeah, that's the shocking part of this. Of it's not just him; it's Corey Good and others are pushing this new narrative.
Loads of them.
Yeah, and the fact that there are missiles being shot into kindergartens and all of this other nonsense, and these idiots are going to claim that the person responsible for that is a white hat, and twist this narrative to keep their bullshit stories going and keep the money rolling in, right? Sell people the hopium. Now it's Ukraine, right? I'm surprised Trump's not involved yet with a secret military force that he's still in control of, or whatever nonsense.
He is.
Yeah.
He gave the orders.
It's just, but it is very, like, it's shocking to me that all these people are dying and suffering, and the suffering of war. You know, I have family in Poland that are probably soon to be hosting Ukrainian families, children and wives, and you know, I'm hearing horror stories. There's 150,000, 200,000 refugees just over the Polish border alone, racing out of the country to not get shot at, missiles launched at their homes. This Putin is a monster. He is shooting missiles at people's houses, apartment complexes, civilian targets. They just tried to take a hospital over today. Why would a military force who's saying we're surgically striking military targets only, why would they try to take over a hospital? Putin is a monster, and for anybody to suggest that he's a white hat is ridiculous. But the fact that they're trying to suggest all this stuff while, you know, continuing their grift, like send me money, join my course, buy my course, or, you know, whatever, it's just, it says everything about what kind of people they are to want to profit from that human suffering that's taking place right now.
So,
you know, missiles hitting Freedom Square, hitting a police building, and right opposite at a university, civilian areas, residential blocks. You know, this is not what you think that these are all targeted. You know, their line is, and obviously, of course, you know, their whole media is on blackout at the moment. You can't call it a war, you can't call it an invasion. You know, why would they have to go through those lengths to spin a narrative? The rest of the world, all standing by Ukraine. You know, nothing to hide in the media. You know, why would they have to go through those extent? And the thing is, if they were doing these operations, if this was a real military operation to liberate the people, to bring peace, to stop the deep state, you know, things going on, why would he not use that to
use that in his propaganda? They were saving the children.
It's close to you know, an absolute geopolitical disaster. Or you know, and they are right now, you know, completely isolated pariah state, basically, in Russia. Why would you not use this opportunity to say, you know what, the deep state are doing this, selling adrenochrome. Here's the evidence of the child trafficking. Here's what we're taking down. Why would they still not? And they're controlling the media like this. Why would they not, you know, say that this is what we're doing? This is why we're the good guys. And they're not, and because it's a load of bullshit.
They're also running with this biolab narrative, and so I did quite a bit of research. They obviously just found out about them, and I even called someone that I know that works at the Pentagon. And so, like the biolab narrative, the U.S. does sponsor biolabs all over the world, and there are some in Ukraine. But the reason we do it is part of a threat reduction program. So basically, if a country's going to already have a biolab, and this, let's say they're going to spend $1 million on it, and it's basically going to be like paper mache and bubble gum, right? We would rather come in and put $6 million behind it and have it secure, make sure there's no leaks, there's no cross-contamination, people can wash in, wash out, and we can inspect it. That's the reason that we invest behind those, the same way we do nuclear deals with other countries. Okay, you can do nuclear power, but we have to make sure you're not making nuclear warheads. But they just found out that there's, I don't know, 16 biolabs or something in Ukraine. They don't care about the 200 that's in Russia or the 350 that's in China, but the 16 that's in Ukraine, that's the ones they're going to run with. But they are funded in part to keep them open to inspections and to keep them safe. No one wants a biolab that's on a shoestring budget. It just doesn't help. And proximity with the biolab doesn't matter. Russia, it doesn't matter. Even the current issue we have with the pandemic, if it came from China, it still got here, right? It doesn't matter that they're across the border. Proximity doesn't. They could be anywhere in the world, but I can't believe they keep pushing that narrative. He's shutting them down. Yeah, okay. Needs to shut down his own first. Yeah.
He should shut his own first. Yeah.
They just seize any opportunity, like Stephen just said, that why would they target a hospital? Well, you know what the grifters are going to do. They're going to seize that opportunity to say, no, they were saving the children at the hospital. So this wasn't any old hospital. No. There were not, typical civilians in the hospital. It was children from the tunnels, and that they've gone. This is what they're going to do. And the thing is that the followers, they hang off their every word. So they're going to go, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, look, it even says on the mainstream news that they bombed a hospital, right, hiding in plain sight, right in front of us. But they'll use it all. And it frustrates me because it's playing into their hands without deliberately trying to play into their hands. They're just innocently, reporting what's going on. Okay, today this was targeted, that was targeted, and they'll go, right, thinking caps on, guys, what can we do? MI5 ladies on the phone, hello, Charlie, here's what we're going to tell everyone. But it's true, but that's how it feels. That's kind of that whole thing is, it's so orchestrated, and then they post the same nonsense round to each other, which appears to begin on Real Raw News, and then they all just post the same stories around, and it's so dangerous because there are people who genuinely believe it. And like with we were talking earlier about trying to warn people about who Simon is and his past and everything else, they don't want to know. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the truth because it's going to screw with the narrative that they've now got in the head, and they've got this, 17, Trump's still in charge, really, even though none of that makes any sense. But they're going to. You don't ruin it for them. Don't ruin their fantasy, and
don't burst their bubble.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I'll stop now.
Yeah, but some of this stuff, it just gets to the level of childishness and like how stupid are the people that are their followers? Because to suggest that Putin is a white hat, you just look into his history, former KGB. Anybody that spoke out against him suddenly got polonium poisoning and died a horrible, horrible death. And I mean people that just opposed him and wanted to have democratic elections, or whatever. His history is filled with being a stone cold killer and an evil, evil tyrant of a man. To suggest suddenly he's the good guy, it shows a level of delusion that some of these people have to subscribe to be able to believe this. It's just too much.
I've got a group of people following a grifter or whatever you want to call him that know who he is, know his background, know he was arrested for messing around with kids, know where he grew up, know where he went to school and to college. And now he has suddenly convinced them that he's the real Edward Snowden. But they know who Edward Snowden is, but that's an actor playing Phil, playing Edward Snowden. So, and now he just disappeared on a 48-hour mission, and he's posted about 300 Telegram messages that are just lines of gibberish, and he said he's hacking the deep state. And they're like, oh yeah, get him.
Mate, that guy is something else. I just don't understand how people. I mean, it gets wilder and wilder, and people seem to get stupider and stupider. And we may be saving some people, but I think double the amount of people are falling into deeper, wider, more ridiculous rabbit holes than ever these days. And
the more ridiculous, the better. Like, did you see this Okie from Okie's Weird Stories? He went undercover with James Casbolt on this Super Soldier channel, and he told them that a clone of Kevin Spacey trained him to be a super soldier, and they bought everything he said, hook, line, and sinker. It was so ridiculous he couldn't believe it himself. Like, he threw in some ridiculous stuff just because everybody does that. Okay, a clone of Kevin Spacey's gave me my space training, and they loved it. They fell for it hook, line, and sinker. They said he was the best guest they ever had.
I mean, I will say that the geopolitical situation right now, it is more complex. It's just not straightforward. And any line of mainstream media is going to be it's slightly in some way biased, but. So there is more to say. It's not black and white. There is history going back 2014 with all this stuff. But what I will say is it also black and white, and also on video is these civilians being targeted is the I'm outraged by what's going on. It didn't need to be this way. You can't call this man a good man, and that's what I will say on that matter. And I think that was well worth bringing up, and it was good to hear your opinions on that. But I think we should move on. Let's go something a bit lighter, because that was some heavy stuff. We're going to just quickly go to a short ad break quickly. Enjoy.
A patriot who's always on the go. Do you wish you could whip up a nutritious meal and still have time to do all that patriotic stuff? Well, now you can. Introducing Nicky Nacky Noodles. My name is Nicky Nacky Noo, and I am part of the Quantum Wellness Group. Here at Quantum Wellness, we have devised a nutritious meal that you can have on the go, especially if you're doing a tour like myself and Fordy and Lana, and there's not enough room on the tour bus to even swing one of Lana's cats. Well, never fear, nutritious nosh is here. With Nicky Nacky Noodles, all you'll need is a kettle and a bowl, and of course, Nicky Nacky Noodles. You can mix these together in just minutes, giving you a nutritious meal which will sustain you throughout the day. Nicky Nacky Noodles. Nutritious nosh now!
Where's that? Where's that soundbite?
Oh, the applause. Hold on, just a second. Very good.
It's like a golf applause. I love that. It's just like so, pleasant, respectful.
That's it.
Yeah, brilliant as always, guys. Nicky Nacky Noodles. Get them in your local store now.
Are you working on the music video?
To get some.
He's got hungry, isn't he?
Like, Intel lady, are you working on the?
Sounds good.
Are you working on the remake of the music video yet? Don't be hurt.
Guys, if you haven't seen that, Nicholas Armin was a
pop
star, I guess. He did a song.
I might do a rewrite on it. Maybe.
We did show it on an earlier Griftbusters episode, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
A little bit, I think. But yeah, definitely. I'd love to see Nicky Nacky News rendition.
There he is.
Yeah.
No noodles.
No noodles. Where are your noodles, Tiz?
My noodles.
Where's your Nicky Nacky Noodles?
Can I just say, I hope you were paying attention to the megabus, to the side of the megabus, because I don't know what the chances were of us finding a megabus with a character on the side of it that looked astonishingly like a certain potato-like grifter.
It looked like Dr. Fraud. It looked like Charlie Fraud. Let's put it that way.
It looked just like Fraudy. It was. You have to go back and watch it, because
sure.
I was like, what? Wait a minute. Rewind. I was like, wow, yeah.
So, who's this? What's this crunching? Justice, are you eating
Who's
crisps?
got the noodles?
He's breaking up the noodle bag.
Right, okay. Boiling the kettle now.
Noodles there.
Right, guys, let's move on. I think this is probably going to be a longer show today. We try and keep them to an hour, but we're about halfway through, and the second half of the show, I wanted to focus on so we brought Stephen Cambian on here today, Truthseekers channel. The link will be in the description. I had problems with the description. We had lots of technical issues getting the stream up, but certainly after the live stream I will update it with his channel on there if it's not already on there. I think I tried.
You could just search for Truthseekers in the YouTube search bar. Look for me, the weird guy with sunglasses. It's the first one that pops up. Just put Truthseekers in the search bar. I need a bigger bullhorn, so I'd appreciate some of you guys coming over there.
Sure.
We do a lot of this kind of stuff. We have
the
for
thing
quite
is,
some time.
I've looked at your channel. Like, obviously, I've looked at your channel. I've been following your channel for a while, and looked into some of your videos, and some of them are great. And you have your own brand of grift busting, and that's why I contacted you quite a while ago and said, look, we're going to get you onto a Griftbusters.
Yeah, but that was like a year ago.
No, it wasn't. That was like a month or two ago, surely.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It was a little while ago, but then we haven't.
I'm glad to be here because it's kind of a lonely world. It's kind of a lonely world doing this stuff, and I like talking to other people that do similar kind of work and advancing ideas. Yeah,
you're ready to the show, man.
I think it may have been like 4 months ago, but I've only done one episode of Griftbusters since, so it's not like
I'm fine. I'm just busting your balls. I'm happy to be here anytime. Yeah,
but no, it's great to have you on and to concentrate on this because some of your work is really important, I think, and I think something that we haven't covered so much on the show on this show is more the UFO side of things, the community there, and a lot of what you focus on seems to be in that realm. Correct me if I'm wrong. So there's a lot of stuff around David Wilcock or David Shilcock, and if you guys noticed the intro to the video, David Shilcock did a brilliant sort of opening to the video to this episode, and it's maybe something that we should perhaps bring up more. Because some of these guys are really so mainstream. David Wilcock, I've known longer than pretty much anyone I've covered on this channel. So, but yeah, your work's great. So the reason that one of the things I wanted to hone in on is someone that we've both covered. I will show a short, I say a short video. I'll show a video now, just kind of giving background on this person. This person is Sarah R. Adams. Right. She is a grifter of the ultimate magnitude. It's someone that I've covered before, and it's someone that you've covered. I've done a couple of videos. You've covered quite extensively, and I really wanted to show how you kind of busted her as a grifter as well. Like I did when I went undercover with this fake king.
That's guy. The best. Those are the best gotcha moments ever. They're the best kind.
And you sent someone in undercover to bust this one. But so let's give a bit of background for those of you who don't know. If those of you want to recap or see what myself and what Stephen had uncovered about Sarah R. Adams. So let's just load that up.
Dead air.
These courses, and it turns out their guru who had trained them to sell these courses was Sarah R. Adams. And I came across this on Facebook. So this lady, Sarah R. Adams. So I read this post a bit out there now. Here we go. Look, the ETs on the ship are here to be of service and help real humanity to evaluate consciousness globally for the highest and greatest good of all. Wow. Roxanne and Peter have been working with individuals one-on-one and have been assisted by Palladian beings aboard the ship using advanced technology, including the medbeds. Oh, here we go. So medbeds, working with aliens. Let's see where this is going. Feel amazing and enjoy change to your vibration and energetic state. Rapidly clear blocks and barriers you have been hindering your healing and ascension. Feel in alignment with the divine and the flow in life while living even more in the present moment. Sounds fantastic. In this session, you'll be guided to 22D. 22D? The session is intuitively guided by Roxanne and will telepathically communicate with the ETs for guidance and assistance. Well, that's reassuring. This session is done remotely and is for people that are open and ready to take their healing and frequency upgrades to the next level. If you'd like to take up this offer, please see the link below. These sessions are $250. I'm sure some of you have seen these images being spread about before. These images come from a 3D futuristic laboratory interior scene model. A lot of these medbed pictures, they come from either movie sets, 3D modeling sets, it's art. Well, look, does she look like some spiritual guru? Yeah. She's definitely spent some of that money some enhancements.
Plastic parts.
This person
Plastic parts
needed help, and she, that is terrible. I mean, this woman claims to give one-to-one sessions. They're very expensive. A couple of $100, $300, and she's not even turning up. And they're not even giving refunds. So, yeah, just a couple of examples I thought I would bring to light on, people not even getting the service that's offered, even if it is, completely. I was disgusted to see that she had no problem in flouting the spoils of what she's doing with selling these courses, with making this money off of vulnerable people. So just to give you an example, here is some of her posts. I think I'm pretty good at money magic, she says, and look at her flashing a wad of $100 bills. She's also talking about, on another post, my Jag is finally clean, showing off her newly bought car. No doubt off the back of the money she's making from, selling these courses to vulnerable people.
This interest of mine into consumer fraud and psychics, I was thinking about this, and I remembered seeing something on Sarah R. Adams' website that we just sort of brushed on in this last show where we discussed her, The Strange Case of Sarah Adams Part 3. I'm not sure that this is a Part 4 really, because, but I wanted to touch on what we sort of missed touching on. And I wanted to ask Sarah R. Adams to show us the Stargates. I'm sorry. I want to see the Stargates. I want to see the Stargates. If you're taking money from people teaching a class, that you can open Stargates, right? You're telling people you're going to teach them that you, Sarah R. Adams, can access, create, and open Stargates, and that you're going to teach people how to do that for money. Then show us a Stargate. Come on, just show us one. You don't have to show us multiple Stargates. Just show us one Stargate. Get your phone out, put it in the room, push record, go live on Facebook, YouTube, whatever you want to do, Sarah R. Adams, and show us a Stargate. It's basically consumer fraud. It's in black and white. Share something from her website because I find this interesting. Well, actually, what I really find interesting is how she can get away with this. So here's something from Sarah's website. This is the courses that she teaches. So she takes money from people to teach, right? Okay. Light Being Activation course. This course will teach you how to create and open and access stargates and portals. That's just the first sentence. That's just the first sentence of what she's promising in this course. It will teach you how to create, open, and access stargates and portals. Now, I'm assuming since Sarah R. Adams is teaching this course and how to create, open, and access stargates and portals, that she can do that, right? So here we are, friends. We found her. She's got another superpower. This girl's got more superpowers. Like, growing up, I read comic books. I don't remember ever reading in any comic book a girl that had more superpowers than Sarah R. Adams. I don't know one. This is another major claim that she's making, that she can open and access stargates and portals. It gets crazier. Like, okay, she's also going to teach you to interact with ETs, angels, and other light beings. This is one of the first steps to achieve contacting ET beings. So, this is hopium for hopeful people, or hopeless people. Like all these people that believe in ET and really want to know the truth and really want to get to the truth of ET and they want to commune with our star brothers. Hey, for some money, she's going to teach you to do that. This is another thing that she can't prove. Sarah, you can't prove that you talk to ETs, angels, or any light beings. And if you can, again, push record on your phone, go live on Facebook, go live on YouTube, and show us some ETs, aliens, and other light beings, man. I can't wait to see this. So far, you got to show us in Stargate, and then you got to show us an ET, an angel, and other light beings. I guess you can pick Sarah or Adams. You can pick whatever other light beings you want. But so far, you got to show us a Stargate, ET. You got to show us that you interact with ETs, angels, and other light beings. Jesus Christ, what am I doing here? Why do I got to do this? Somebody's got to do this, friends. Somebody's got to. This is crazy. Cleansing, clearing, and rebuilding the emotional body, the physical body, the energetic body. Okay, so she must make sure that your body is clear of energetic blockages first. We must also clear out the emotional body and detox the physical body. This is probably so she gets multiple sessions, right? You're not just giving her $200 and learning, how to open the stargates. First, she's got to work on your chakra, quantum dimensional, word salad bunch of bull, and get like multiple sessions. You're going to be going to her many, many times, not just once for this. And it's probably, she doesn't list prices, probably a couple $100 a session. That's my guess. That's my speculation. If I'm wrong, her or her idiot manager can correct me. Let's see. She's going to guide you through an energetic rebirthing process into higher frequencies to achieve accessing any ET or angelic being. One must function at higher frequencies. Again, that's probably another session. She's got to fix your frequencies of some. I often interact with angels, light beings, and ETs. Okay, so Sarah R. Adams has is that another superpower, that you interact with angels, light beings, and ETs? I'm going to put that in the superpower column. You can talk to angels and ETs and light beings. That column of your superpowers, Sarah, is getting bigger and bigger, and I can't believe that. There's another superpower. You can talk to angels, ETs, angelic beings. Okay. And here's just this is a humdinger statement too. As a child, Archangel Michael appeared to me and spoke to me for hours. He told me that children often see angels because their auras are clear, and that adults fail to interact with angels as their auras are dense from negative emotions and dense energies. Okay, so she talked to angels when she was a kid. Or she had imaginary friends like any other kid. I don't know. Okay. I've always kept this experience deep within my heart, for it's a key of why many people cannot access light beings, ETs, or angels. Yeah, so to me, this whole thing is a setup so far. I'm going to get you there, and you're going to be able to talk to ETs and angels, but first you need a lot of work and a lot of sessions. This is classic Connery scam language to set up a stupid person. Like, after you read this, then she can go, yeah, first we have to work on, clearing out your emotional body and detoxing your physical body before we can talk to those ETs or those aliens, right? And then you're going to have to come back to me because I'm going to have to raise your vibration before you can talk to those ETs and those angels and those light beings and before you can open the stargates. Okay, for contact to happen, you must put in the work to detox. The state of your energy field and a detox body is a major part of getting you to successfully contact otherworldly beings. And again, this is also a setup for failure. If you don't get to talk to ETs, angels, light beings, and if you don't get the superpower to open stargates and portals, then she's just going to say that you didn't put the work in. You're not detoxed enough. You don't have the energy field. Your body's not detoxed enough. Your soul's not detoxed enough. Word salad bull. Okay. The course consists of 12 sessions where I work one-on-one with you, and we do major amounts of energy work together. And then I teach you to open stargates and access otherworldly beings. Oh, Sarah R. Adams, would somebody please buy this for me? Listen, I'll do it. If somebody's gonna buy it for me, I'll do it. Choosing to work only with those who are sincere about working with me and are working to step up and do the work. Sarah, I'll do the work. I will detox whatever you want. I want those superpowers, Sarah. I want to have those superpowers. I'll do the work, Sarah. She's not talking to me right now, and she's blocked me for calling her a fake, fraud, psychic intuitive healer. Her manager hasn't replied to me because he's a coward and he knows I'm right. Bro, you know I'm right. She doesn't have superpowers. She's hot, right? That's what you think. You think she's hot. You're in love with her, and you've dedicated your entire life to get near her, try to help her, to be close to her. Oh, I think her manager's in love with her. And he knows that she's full of because he's too smart to not know that she's full of, but he helps her anyway. Great guy. So yeah, it's a 12-session course, and considering she charges $250 a session for the psychic fake healing that she doesn't really do, or she tells you that she's gonna do for $250, this is probably $250 a shot at 12 sessions. Wow, I didn't get my calculator out. But people complain that some of these courses are expensive. If it is $250 in 12 sessions, that's $3,000 for her. Ooh. Listen, here's where I'm at, Sarah. Show us the aliens, honey. Show us the aliens, honey. Show us the angels. Go live on your phone. We've all got a phone. You got a phone, right? Set it to video. Press record. Open up Stargates, right? Open up those Stargates, Sarah. Put your phone on, open up the Stargates. Show us the Stargates. Or are you a fraud selling people fake shit? If you can't show us that you can open a Stargate, then how should we believe that you can teach us to open a Stargate? God, I would have pissed her off. I wish I would have tried to take that course first, because then I could just come back and say, I took the course, I did what you told me to do, and I could open Stargates. So she's just stealing money from people, teaching them how to open Stargates that don't exist. Sarah, your superpowers aren't real, honey. Your superpowers just aren't real. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah, no, great. Great to review that.
You need to merch that now, Stephen. You need a T-shirt that says, show us the effing Stargates.
I'm going to merch that. That's a good idea, actually.
Do it. Just come on. It's one of your most iconic.
I think that the argument is very sound, though. If she's going to take $3,000 from somebody to teach them to open a Stargate, I think the very least she could do is show her opening one freaking Stargate to prove that she can teach people.
Sure.
Well, if you buy anything, there's a lot of advertising and showing of the products and things like that before you actually go out to purchase anything. Why should Stargates be any different? Why should it not be branded? Come see my Stargates.
What she's doing is basically guiding you to meditation.
At least.
Yeah. It's what she's doing is basically guiding you through deep meditation. Well, I do that. And they're free. I teach people how to meditate for free.
You're getting screwed.
I'm like, I put it on my YouTube for free. I couldn't.
Yeah, and many people do it. And that's another aspect of this new age grifter thing, is that a lot of them are just taking things like transcendental meditation and rebranding it and selling it. And if you go to any meditation organization or there's Buddhist organizations all over the world that will just give you free books on how to meditate. You just pay for the shipping, and it's literally a couple dollars. I have probably 100 books from Buddhist societies in my library that were all $2 shipping from, Tibet or Malaysia or different places where these storehouses are. They consider it a sacred duty of theirs to share that knowledge with people for no money. So they just want you to pay for the shipping, and they get donations to print the books. Meditation should be free. And if that's all she's offering, rebranding it and saying, oh, it's opening stargates, or the medbed session is another one. She started selling the fake medbed sessions where, they're going to take you through a stargate up to a spaceship to lay in a med bed and meet the ETs. But then at the end of the text body, she admits it's just a Skype session. So the med beds don't exist. But now she's going on to actually make a real med bed. Okay. She got an artist to get a tanning bed and glue a whole bunch of magnets in it. And she's calling that a med bed. And she's opening, this is true. I'm not making this up. She's opening an office in Sedona, Arizona, where you can go and lay in the fake med bed made out of a tanning booth or tanning bed. And that's another thing. Like, who knows? This dude is gluing hundreds of magnets inside this thing. Who knows what that does to your body? Like, the FDA should get involved. Somebody could be dangerous, She's just going to stick people in this bed with orgonite and magnets in a tanning bed, and charge people $300 a session to lay in it for an hour.
Yeah,
that's the latest.
You've done a video on that as well, and if you give me the link to that, I'll put that in the description for the show.
Sure.
So, guys, you should go and see Stephen's work, and that was great. I think that those videos there together really does sum up, kind of set the scene to who we're investigating here. But a little bit of context, and something that wasn't mentioned there, is who she is and how she got her platform. So I don't know if yourself or Jen or someone else can.
Yeah, I'm very familiar, actually. She first came to light claiming to be a super soldier. She first said that, she was in his prison and there was AI black goo injected into all the prisoners. And, so she, yeah. So and that's directly from X-Files.
Yeah.
That was her first incarnation. And she was the girlfriend for a time of Max Spears, another super soldier. Yeah. The super soldier came first for her. And then she retconned herself and decided she was no longer a super soldier. Now she was an intuitive, empathic healer. And then she retconned herself again and started saying that she was an alien hybrid. And then she retconned that, and then it's like, I'm not of this earth. So now she's claiming that she's not even human. She might be an alien. Her family has some ties to some military base where they did alien experiments.
Just to confirm, was she with Max Spears before?
This is where I was getting at. Yeah. Max Spears. Where does that come into it? I mean, I thought that was the first where she launched herself from, being Max Spears' girlfriend.
Yeah, but I think shortly before, right. That's how she got some notoriety and people knowing who she is, because she followed him around at all the conferences, and she starts to bring herself forward more in the spotlight with him shortly before his death. And she's speaking at conferences telling people that she's a super soldier too. But again, that all gets retconned. And now she has new superhero origin story where she's not a super soldier, and it had nothing to do with AI black goo. It has to do with her being, some kind of chosen savior of humanity, basically, which is what a lot of these people put themselves out there as.
So I think it's worth spending a minute talking about who Max Spears is, because there's probably a lot of people in the chat that or in watching the video that doesn't know who Max Spears is, and I think that this is very relevant to her story. And in fact, I think she took advantage of Max and his notoriety to launch her own grift and make money off the back of that. And I think this is a very important part of that story and something we've not covered here. So she was Max Spears' ex-girlfriend, and Max Spears was a well-known apparent super soldier. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who also died in some very strange circumstances, and this is where the black goo, I don't know where it comes from, but it's involved in this, right?
Yeah, he died of a drug overdose, but there was various stories of some kind of black goo coming out of his mouth when he died, and all of conspiracy land went crazy with conspiracy stories surrounding him. Sarah herself went off saying, basically, she tried to turn him into a Jesus character for a while, saying that he would rise from the dead or something like that. It just was totally bizarro. And then Terry Joyce from Not My Rabbit Hole did a lot of work talking to Max Spear's mother, and it turns out that Sarah and him were sort of on again, off again, and not really together at the time of his death, though she claimed that they were engaged. And it's a whole rabbit hole in and of itself, her involvement with him. But shortly after his death, she retcons herself and decides she's a psychic intuitive healer. And now she's selling medbed sessions for medbeds that first didn't exist. And I think in response to me saying that's illegal, you can't be selling medbed sessions for medbeds that are imaginary. Suddenly she's got some new age artist building what she calls a medbed, which, like I said, is essentially a tanning bed with magnets and orgonite glued inside it.
Pretty incredible stuff. Max Spear is someone that I had kind of briefly looked into through my various investigations of strange things out there. So Max Spears was someone that I knew of, and I actually stumbled across Sarah R. Adams in a completely coincidental way. If you watch, I've done 2 videos on her. The first one was online grifter sharks, and I found 2 of her, and it mentions it briefly in the snippets that I showed of my second video there. And I found these 2 people that were, certificated, apparently, somehow, whether Sarah R. Adams has the power to certificate gurus in this sense, I find strange. I don't think that's true. But certificated by Sarah, that was their guru, and they were offering these ascension courses where they put you in a med bed and you ascend to 22D and go on
yeah, and as I understand it, it was a financial arrangement between Sarah and these other 2 grifters from Australia, wherein she would provide the customers, they would provide the service, and there was some split of the money, though I'm a little unclear as to what the split actually was. And it's also worthy to note that both Sarah R. Adams and Max Spear sort of rose to prominence through Miles Johnson, who has the whole super soldier, kind of channel. Later, he's charged with rape. And then another interesting part of the story is that Sarah...
I don't know if you know, he's currently going through a court case now regarding same sort of stuff. And I received a threat on my channel the other day because Miles was part of what I covered with Marie Chiali saying, you want to learn the hard way. I think that's paraphrasing.
Wow.
You will learn the hard way. That was straight from the Basis Project YouTube channel to my channel.
Yeah, and there was another interesting part of the story in that Sarah, after she retconned herself as no longer a super soldier, now she's a psychic intuitive healer, she threatened to sue Miles Johnson to get the videos of her telling her other superhero origin story taken down. And he refused to do that, but I think later he did, but I've still got copies and several other people still have copies. And it's really cringeworthy. And I think that there was probably either mental illness or some kind of drugs involved. Because when you see her telling these stories about, she was in cages with all these people and she looks like she's tweaking or something, it's terrible. But she threatened Miles Johnson to have all those videos taken down because people started finding them when she tried to reinvent herself and asking too many questions, including me.
So let's go on to talk about you grift busting Sarah R. Adams. So
yeah,
with all the work that we had done, and we showed snippets of it there, and go and watch Stephen's videos, go and watch the 2 that I did, where we break down this woman is obviously a huge grifter. It's quite obvious. But
yeah, and if you don't mind it, there's one thing that I should explain before you play that, and that is that Sarah, I've investigated 100 or more fake psychics, and many of them use the same tactics, which is that on their website for legal purposes, they will go so far as to what their superpowers are or what services they offer. But when you speak to them verbally, if you're friendly, they go further. So when I first started with Sarah, she didn't know who I was. And I just said, yeah, I have the show Truthseekers and I'm interested in your psychic abilities. And she was all about proving her psychic powers to me. And some of the things that she told me was that she could diagnose people's mental or diagnose medical conditions even over the phone. She could see people's auras and know exactly what was wrong with them. And another thing she claimed to be able to do is communicate with nonverbal autistic children. I have one, you know, and she told me all kinds of fairy tales about what my son is thinking and saying, and you know, all kinds of. And she told me verbally, and I still have tapes of all these conversations. You know, she tells me verbally that she has many clients that she communicates to their nonverbal, or, you know, people who have, you know, Down syndrome children, or people that don't have children that are mute or don't speak or are autistic nonverbal. She has many clients, she told me, that she communicates for the children to the parents, which I found absolutely disgusting if she's telling people that. And then one of the other things that she told me is, like I said, that she could diagnose people's medical conditions and heal them of whatever ails them, basically. So I said, so if somebody came to you with like a bad heart condition, you'd be able to tell that they had a bad heart condition? And she said, yes. So I decided to set her up and send into her a fake terminal cancer patient. And by that, I mean a perfectly healthy man that had nothing wrong with him. But he and I talked, and he agreed to play the part of a terminally ill cancer patient. I sent this man to her, and she bought it hook, line, and sinker. She gave him a hot reading, told him all kinds of stuff that I had already told him to try to impress him. She was telling him things like, I see your cancer cells. I'm shrinking them down. Your cancer is, you know, you'll need more sessions, but I'll get as much of the cancer shrunken away today as I can to try to improve your present condition. And, you know, when he came back to me, I wasn't surprised, but I was kind of shocked that she went that far with somebody that she thought was a terminal cancer patient, telling him that she was healing his cancer. It's just too much for me, you know. It's way too much.
It's disgusting. Yeah. And you know, you touched on the autism thing, and you know that you have to.
Oh yeah, she was telling me what my son was thinking and saying, and what he didn't like about his bedroom and all these things.
I can see people in the chat being outraged by that. By
one of the times she told me she was communicating. One of the times she told me she was communicating for my son, I walked downstairs because I knew he was sleeping. He was dead asleep, and I wanted to say, like, you're communicating for my son who's dead asleep right now? What are you doing? Reaching into his dream and see what he has to say? It's ridiculous.
It's a sickening thing to.
I just let her keep talking.
And it's one of those emotional. It's one of those emotional bargaining chips that some of these people, these grifters, use, that they think, you know, this is going to touch them in some way, so I'm gonna hit that nerve. And for them, they're thinking, well, you know, this is, but in reality, it's such a sick thing to do. And you know what I will say is that, you know, there's multiple people, you know, I won't go into personally how across this panel that kind of understands that and be even more sickened by that because of our personal experiences with autism, with children with autism. And
I mean, what would I like more than anything in the world, Em? I would like to be able to deeply, you know, my son speaks a few words, but I would like to be able to communicate with my nonverbal autistic son. That would be, if I had one wish, it would be that he would be able to communicate, because it's very frustrating with a child like that. If they get upset, you don't really know what the problem is. You know, if they're angry, having meltdowns, you don't really understand. You got to guess. What is he hungry? Is he thirsty? Is he sick? Does he have a fever? You know, so her, like many people, will prey on somebody's weakness like that, you know. And I got to tell you, for a brief moment, I entertained the possibility that she could, because she told me some things that I thought, well, maybe, you know, like what his favorite color was and this and that. And, you know, I don't know. But as soon as I talked to my wife about it, my wife was like, this lady's full of shit. And here's why, you know.
I mean, for any parent, you know, and I'm not a parent of, you know, but I have a personal experience. For any parent, that must be something that you would hope would be true. Like this whole hopium thing, you know, can affect anyone, no matter how critical, no matter how intelligent people are, if there's something that we really, really hope in life, and being a parent to a child is something that's going to touch someone more than anything in the world. You know, you would just, you know, if there's an inkling she could be right and she could do that for you, then, you know, you have to entertain that.
Yeah, and I did. And the other thing that's really important to notice is that when I first talked to her, it was very late at night one night, and she was talking, and she decided to run me through one of her healing sessions or whatever. And I didn't realize it right at the time she did the so-called reading to me, but she was using hypnotic induction techniques to relax me and to make me more suggestible. And then I truly felt like my chest was warming up when she told me that it would, because I had been, you know, sort of stealthily hypnotically inducted. And then the person that I sent into her was a hypnotist and mentalist, and he agreed with me that she's absolutely using hypnotic induction techniques in her talks to sort of as a convincer. And I missed it on the first run and went, I really felt something in my chest. Maybe this girl has some kind of, maybe she's real. Later come to find out that she may have been in contact with not a hypnotist that I know personally, but that other people that I know. She may have dated a hypnotist for a while who taught her some tricks. And that makes her a bit of a unicorn, because most fake psychics use cold reading or hot reading, or they do research that they don't tell you they're doing on the internet so that they can tell you some things about yourself. But the fact that she's actually using hypnotic induction techniques to convince people of physical effects of her so-called healing sessions does make her interesting to me and a bit of a unicorn. But verified by a real noted hypnotist and mentalist that she, for sure, I wanted to be sure that that's what she was doing. And he agreed with me that she absolutely was using typical, what's called stealth hypnotic induction techniques. Wow. In other words, you're hypnotically inducing someone and making them very suggestible to your suggestions, but they're not out and they're not aware that they're being manipulated. It's a very manipulative tactic.
Well, you know, we'll show your breakdown of this. I'm going to show a clip in a minute.
Sure.
But what I do want to say is that, you know, this is an emotional subject, and you know, it appears that that has leaked over into the chat. There are, you know, there is a parent in the chat with, you know, autistic twins, non-verbal, that she said something like along the lines of, I wish that they could say that I love you, mum. And, you know, I want to give a big shout out for that, and much love. And if anyone listening, you know, it's hard to understand from my own point of view, but I have personally worked with non-verbal autistic people that I really care about, and hearing your story as well, Stephen.
This one became, and I have to admit, I try not to get personal with some of this stuff, but I went after her rough after this, because I was pissed off, because if she's doing this to me and she's telling me she's doing it to other clients, you know, how do I know that she's not taking money from 20 or 30 people that are suffering and just lying and making up stuff that she's saying their children are saying or communicating? It became personal for me.
Absolutely, and it doesn't stop there. All sorts of illnesses, etc. Cancer was something that you went in with going undercover. And shall we play the clip and show people?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So here's what happened with that.
I want you to transcend realities.
I should just explain. Sarah was so up on proving her superpowers to me that she said, fine, if I'm not able to work on your chakras because you have a cursed ring that you have to destroy before my superpowers work, then you can send me somebody else that's going to have an open mind, and then I'll be able to prove my powers to them. And I went, okay, I'll send you somebody else that you can use your superpowers on. And I thought long and hard about what I was going to do about that. I have friends that are believers. I have friends that are total skeptics. And I have friends that are somewhere in between. She says, you haven't contacted me since. I have no messages or nothing from you. Well, Sarah, I can share the 10 times, I counted, 10 times since the spring, I've asked you, I tried to schedule it, I've given you every opportunity to come on here, and you wouldn't. One time you said that you were deathly ill and couldn't even talk. And in the same day, not me, but somebody else pointed out that you were posting selfies on Twitter all day in full hair and makeup. So you were so sick, you couldn't walk, you couldn't talk, you couldn't do the interview, but you were posting glam shots of yourself all day. You know, that's a sad thing. And again, one thing I want to mention is that the purpose of this video is not to damage her reputation. It's not to slag her or anything. It's to get to the bottom of the proof. Is her superpowers real or are they bullshit? That's my only intention here. Let's get back to the messages because it gets on and on. I said, you told me you can diagnose and help people's illnesses. The person I sent to you, Sarah, was not sick. He was not terminally sick. He was not sick at all. And you had no idea. Shouldn't you have known he wasn't terminally ill with your superpowers and all? So just to be clear, I did send her somebody. And I told her that he was terminally ill with cancer. He and I are friends. He happens to be a magician, mentalist, and hypnotist. I wanted to send somebody like me that could really give her superpowers a real test. So I send in somebody named Cedric Taylor. You can look him up on YouTube. It's Urban Entity TV he runs, and he's a hypnotist. He and I talked. I explained that I think she's using hypnotic inductions and cold reading. He had one reading with her, and he came back and said, she's absolutely using hypnotic inductions. We're attempting to, and she's using cold reading like any other fake psychic that he's ever talked to or encountered. So the person that I sent to her, which I told her, let's be clear, I told her that he was terminally ill with cancer. And she said, oh, well, I'd be happy to help him with that. Okay. So she previously told me that she could diagnose people's illnesses by looking at their auras, even over the phone. Why, Sarah? Why didn't you know that the person I sent to you wasn't sick? Shouldn't you have been able to tell that when you looked at his aura, you fraud? You con artist. Shouldn't you have been able to tell that? But no, you didn't tell that. You couldn't tell that. And you acted like he was going to die any day now. I have his notes here about how those readings went, right? She comes back to me and says, I worked on his aura, which was really bad. And he said he felt better. He felt the work. So basically you're saying you have him lie to me. Yeah, he did lie to you. He played along. This was a test. This was a test of Sarah R. Adams' superpowers, a test that Sarah R. Adams failed miserably. You failed miserably, Sarah R. Adams. Your superpowers aren't real. And when somebody went in there claiming to be a terminally ill cancer patient and talked to you on the phone, you had no idea that he wasn't even sick. Shouldn't you have known that? You're a psychic, right? She says, I work on people's energy fields, which affects them in a positive manner. Yeah, that's something you can't prove or disprove. I told him I cleared emotions. I never told him I was working on his cancer. Yes, you did. I told him I was working on where I felt his energy was fenced. I have hundreds of testimonials. Okay. And I reply, okay, so you had no idea he wasn't terminally ill. You previously told me you could diagnose people's illnesses by viewing their auras. Guess your superpowers failed you again. He felt nothing. He played along with you, and you had no idea you were getting punked. Guess your psychic powers failed you also. She replied, I told you I work on energy, which in turn often heals them. And then she says, well, this just shows you rigged this, and you also lie. Yeah, okay, I rigged it. I wanted to test your superpowers, and this is the best test of his superpowers that I could think of. I reply, he's a mentalist and hypnotist, by the way, and agrees with me that you use hypnotic inductions. And if that fails you, or you can't resort to standard hypnotic inductions, you use standard cold reading techniques all fake psychics use. He agrees with me. You use hypnotic induction techniques and cold reading techniques. He agrees with me that your superpowers are all bogus. I didn't rig anything. I tested your superpowers and psychic powers, and you failed miserably. She says, you're also lying about how you said I would not do the show. No, I'm not. Here we are, Sarah R. Adams. Listen, I I said that you could come on the show tonight. I gave you 10 opportunities to come on the show. I'm not lying when I say that you won't come on the show. How many times am I supposed to invite you? You've gotten 10 invitations. I've got screenshots of the 10 invitations, the 10 times I tried to schedule with you. And I went above and beyond. I said, I know you might be on a different time zone. I'll do it whenever you want, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. No reply. Next time, Sarah, I'm still trying to finish this interview. So if you'd like to do it, I could do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, anytime you want. Just let me know. No reply. And over and over and over again. I didn't lie when I said you wouldn't come on the show. You're not on the show. You're not on the show tonight. You could be. Oh, and by the way, just to be fair, she blocked me on Twitter and Facebook. So I really have no way of sending the invitation to her to be on the show. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to send it to her manager. And there's the StreamYard invitation. Or to Jinder Gill, her manager. You can come on too if you want, but I have to finish the presentation first. Okay, so let's get back to the messages. It's just like 2 hours today. She's going back and forth. I said, say what you want. Your claimed superpowers failed. You don't have superpowers, Sarah. You were as ordinary as any person. Sorry to break it to you, but that is the reality of your superpower claims. And you know what? I can share this up until a certain point. So just so nobody thinks that I'm making any of this shit up, these are the actual messages between Sarah Adams and I. So you told me previously you can diagnose people's illnesses by viewing their auras. Why didn't you know he wasn't sick? It's because your superpowers are Sarah. She says, actually, I thought your friend was a bit creepy the way he spoke and was attempting to keep up my part of the deal. You were to send an unbiased person to get the results that way. I made my friend Cedric Taylor promise me that he would be fair and
he was fair.
You know, give you enough rope to hang you. I mean, we talked honestly. I said to him, I know that you're familiar with these cold reading techniques and these hypnotic techniques. You're a hypnotist. I just want you to verify for me if she's using hypnotic induction techniques and cold reading, or if you actually feel anything. If you think her powers are real, come back to me and we'll talk about it. And he came back to me and said, fraud like all the rest. There's nothing special about her, except he agreed with me that it's quite rare that a fake psychic will take the time to actually learn hypnotic induction techniques. He agrees with me and my assessment of your fake superpowers. So I say, I sent you someone familiar with fake psychic techniques, and you used fake psychic techniques just as I knew you would. Cold reading is not superpowers, Sarah. She says, and I told you when I talked, I told him anything. I suggested if he was sick, he could look into alternative healing therapies. And I told him, I don't heal people. I work on clearing emotions and energy. You're an intuitive healer. That's the title you gave yourself. Now you're saying that you don't heal people? You work on clearing emotions and energy?
Chakras.
Your title is intuitive psychic healer, Sarah Adams. You're backpedaling now because you know that you just got punked bad. I said an hypnotist to you, a mentalist that is familiar with fake psychic techniques, and he nailed you and said, yeah, Steve, I agree with you. She's using cold reading. She's using hypnotic inductions. She doesn't have any superpowers. Now, and you feel like an don't you feel like an just a little bit, Sarah R. Adams? You didn't even know that he didn't have cancer. You didn't even know that he wasn't sick at all. And you're telling him, I have the notes. You're telling him like you're working on shrinking cancer cells and all this nonsense you told him. This word salad, bunch of nonsense. You're working on his quantum chakra, third eye, pineal gland, quantum entangled consciousness alter, and all this nonsense you told him. Don't you feel at least a little bit like an because you didn't know that he wasn't even sick, and you're telling him that he has cancer cells? And by the way, how dare you? If you really take money from people that have cancer and you tell them like you're shrinking their cancer cells, then you're a piece. You're a piece. if you do that. And we have proof that you did it in at least this case.
Yeah, Sarah, you.
What do you see with your mind's eye?
I see a con artist grifter.
Despicable stuff.
Yeah.
Well done for catching her out.
Very good.
Yeah, I think she has a few too many glasses of wine every once in a while and threatens to sue me. She's threatened to sue me like 10 times to take those videos down, but I'm not going to do it. You know, we stand by everything that we did. Yeah, yeah.
Actually, no. Guys usually come back on MI5 or whatever, rather than threatening to sue. But interesting stuff. And this guy was a friend of yours that you sent.
Yes, yeah, longtime friend, and you can look him up. It's Cedric Taylor, the Urban Entity. He's an amazing hypnotist, and he can do things like he can put you under so fast, and then he can make you like paralyzed. You'd be unable to move in 2 minutes. He can do that to an average person. He's an amazing guy, and I've known him for quite some time. I knew he would be the perfect person to verify for me that I was correct. I didn't want to go. It's one thing to tell my audience, listen, I'm familiar with these techniques. This is what she's doing. But I thought it'd be better to get somebody else to also go in. And we taped things, and I never released some of that. Someday maybe I will.
Should.
Well, yeah, you should. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I think the autism thing for me is just, wow.
Yeah. And again, you always say this, Intel Lady, love and light, right? What kind of love and light person is taking advantage of sick, terminally ill cancer patients or people with children with, issues or handicaps? It's just a love and light person wouldn't do that. These people are never who they purport to be or pretend to be. It's all part of the con.
And I think it's zoning in on the desperation of certain parents as well, because, so I mean, autism, it's a huge spectrum. Some are non-verbal, some are verbal, but many parents want help for their child, want to be able to sometimes communicate with their child, and if they see that there's somebody that can do that, then if they've tried every other avenue and it hasn't worked, of course they're going to look into to doing something like that. And I'm speaking, and this is very personal to me, I speak as an autism parent. So, but unlike your lovely son, Stephen, both my autistic children are verbal. But, when you're an autism parent, you're on the scene and you speak to all autism parents. And
you get to see. Yeah.
And
I always try to remind myself that, like, my son is, I don't know how they would term him, but I would term him very high functioning, because except for the fact that he almost never speaks, he speaks a little bit, but mostly it's requests for food and things like that he's learned. But, otherwise he's very high functioning. He goes to school. He tries to take part in activities. We don't have him in diapers still, he does that by himself. That was a big win for us, and other things. There's always children that are worse off than he is. He's one of the better in his class full of autistic children. He's one of the highest functioning ones, even with his speech issues, so.
Sure. She was blaming you for not appearing, but the whole time you were begging her to come on, right? That's what
I have all the screenshots. We begged her. Here's what happened. I did one show where I just talked about the psychic reading she gave, and I left it open. Maybe she's got superpowers.
Sure.
And then, but when she did another reading for me, and then started with the autistic. I'll communicate and tell you what your son is thinking and wants to communicate to you and your wife. I lost it and then realized what she was doing with the cold reading and the hypnotic induction techniques. And then I did a second show where I was like, her superpowers are all fake. And then she was supposed to come on the show and she wouldn't after that, Then we covered her in the Stargate scam, and then we covered her with the MedBed scam, and now there's a new MedBed scam with a physical, actual something that she's calling a med bed. But like I said, it's literally a tanning booth with magnets. Yeah, tanning booth with magnets and organite glued in it.
So is she putting together these med beds?
She got a guy who is sort of a staple in the United States New Age community and scene. He's kind of one of those guys that if you go to like a spiritual conference or New Age conference, he's there selling organite pyramids and things like that. And he makes like these, I don't know, weird metal, necklaces that he says do all kinds of things that don't really do anything. And he's sort of an artist, and she got him to make this physical med bed. But like I said, I went to somebody that I know managed a tanning salon and said, am I right? Is that just a tanning bed? And he said, oh yeah, absolutely. It's an older one, but it's a tanning bed. And then there's videos of this guy on Instagram, like gluing magnets in it and showing these organite that he put inside it somehow. And somehow that makes it a super powered med bed that can cure anything. Just some magnets and trash. Organite is basically trash. I'm sorry if you like, I can understand the appeal of organite pyramids. They look nice. You put them on a bookshelf, but for people to claim they have some kind of superpower, medical healing capabilities is too much for me. And organite is basically just copper coils and rocks and crystals and trash put inside a, acrylic pyramid usually.
And lovely, aren't they, Stephen?
They look nice, but when people start saying that they're going to protect your home from evil spirits, or that, it depends on who's selling it, what these organite pyramids actually do. But in any case, the guy who made the actual med bed for her is her new partner, and he makes organite pyramids and other stuff that he runs around at different conferences selling at, a big markup.
They are expensive. Organite pyramids are hugely expensive.
Well, I think he's going to be making these med beds for people. At least that's what he said. And they'll be $20,000 to buy or $300 for an hour session to lay in it for an hour.
Perfect.
Shocking.
And what's interesting too is we mentioned her manager is a man named Tajinder Gill, and a very intelligent computer science kind of a guy with a background, I believe, in information technologies and websites and things like that. So she hooked up with him, and he's supposed to be her manager. And I don't think he has any idea what she really does, because he's too intelligent to just let her go full grift like this, But I think that guy is sort of enamored by her, and he has rearranged his entire life, like quit his job, and he just works for her now.
Well.
Yeah, like you suggested, he supports whether or not he knows she's a fraud.
Yeah, C.W. Channer interviewed him, and we called him on the autistic stuff and her telling people she could do X, Y, or Z, and he basically just made excuses and said, well, I'll have to talk to her about that if that's true, but then he never said anything after. So we really don't know what his state of mind is. He was very defensive of her superpowers when he talked to C.W. Channer.
So let me just say this to sum up. We've only covered two. You could look at it as we've only covered two personalities in that are grifting tonight. However, you could look at it another way, that we've covered a lot.
Yeah.
And part of what we've covered is very personal to some of us. Part of so these people that go out there and say, you guys are just haters. What are these guys doing? If you don't want to listen, don't watch, don't listen. These sort of people that go out there and stick up for these guys, when we touch on how these people can affect people. So with both the personalities that we've mainly covered tonight, and they say, well, you haters, you trolls, why are you bothering to do that? You must be paid assets. All of this bollocks, right?
Yeah, the deep state's worried about these people selling their garbage.
Why is this personal to you? Why are you doing this? What impact do you, hope to have? Why is this even on your, why are you wasting time? We're not wasting time. These people are impacting other people in a very real way, especially when they are charging people, as both of these personalities that we cover tonight do. They charge people for services which they either do not deliver, or if they try to deliver, is not what you've paid for, whether you know it or not. These guys are charlatans, and they are taking advantage of not only, I've used the broad term, taking advantage of the vulnerable before. We've explored a very real and a very personal, especially with yourself and Jen, but all of us, I'm sure, in some way, have affected us. And if we were perhaps more susceptible, and as Stephen said, he almost opened himself up to being susceptible due to his own very emotional, very real circumstances around this. And it just goes to show how this can affect people, and why it's important what we're doing, why it's important what you've done, Stephen, especially around not just especially around Sarah R. Adams, but we've focused in on that tonight. Why it's important, why all of us are doing what we're doing, why this show is important. Very glad to have you on the show tonight, Stephen.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's nice. It's nice to connect with other people that even understand this crazy kind of weird world that we live in, because we're like a subculture within a subculture. If you think about it, you know, looking at it from the skeptical side, and yeah,
we're very much outcasts, especially.
Yeah,
if
they don't like us coming in and pooping on their party. You know, they just they don't like it.
Mentioned the other day, they were like, "I don't understand MC." I think this is on Twitter. Twitter is the armpit.
Yeah, we talked about that off
I said that to you the other day, Stephen. It's the armpit of all socials to me. But you know, they had said, "I don't understand M. Seeker." On the one hand, he's exposing all the truth. On the other hand, he's going with, he's exploring narratives that conspiracy theorists go with. And it's like, well, okay, so I'm not going to, you know, submit to the almighty MSM media, you know, God. That you follow, but at the same time, I'm going to call bullshit where I see it. So
yeah, and nobody should blame you. Nobody should blame you for following some conspiracy theories, because we can see that
out there, and I think that I and we have proved that all of us here. You know, there's not. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, so you go with cat alien shaggers and all this stuff.
Shaggers.
And there's not. You know, sorry, is that a very Austin Powers term, isn't it? It's very,
yeah, I don't hear shaggers.
Shaggers. Yeah. I think I heard you say something like, what did you say earlier? I don't know. I heard you say, I'm not.
Is that he bangs?
No, you said I'm not slagging her. The term is slagging.
Yeah.
The term is not.
So shagging and slagging are two different things. Yes.
No, the term is you're not slagging her off.
Slagging her off. Okay.
Yeah. Very British. Yeah, no.
You have to say the whole thing.
Yeah, you have to say slag. If you just say I'm not just slagging her, isn't slag some sort of?
It's like sewage here.
Sewage. I don't know. Yeah, you need to say slagging her off. But yeah, where I'm getting at is what we do is important. I'm so glad to have all of you here. And you know, this show will continue. We'll continue to have Stephen. I hope you can come back on at some point. We need to talk about some of these people in the UFO community.
Absolutely.
Corey Good, some of the other people that you've covered, and that we know all too well about. I suppose as a collective, but we focus predominantly more outside of that. Some of the more obvious stuff with the UFO community, it's harder to say, "Hang on a minute. You didn't see an alien in the sky," because it's much easier to say, "Hang on a minute, you know, you're not doing this because we sent someone there to say to go, oh, I've got cancer." You know, you can prove that. And you're full of crap. But saying you've seen things. I mean, I've seen things in the sky. I've said this before. I'm not denying that things. Yeah, as a few, Jen. I'm not denying that things don't fly about in the sky. The origin of that, we do not know. There is things out there we do not know. And this is what I was saying about how these people say, well, hang on a minute, I don't understand M. Seeker. I want him to be this ultimate, I follow MSM, everyone that take a shot into your arm, this, that, and the other, pillar of whatever it is. On the other hand, you know, there's people that say, "Oh, I don't want you to disprove anything." So there's got to be some people in the middle that go, "You know what? Maybe we don't know everything. Maybe there is things."
Imagine that, yeah.
And maybe the majority of stuff out there is a load of bull crap on the internet, which it is. So let's find a middle ground, and I think sometimes that's where we all sit, and to various different degrees, and you know, that's where we're at. And yeah, so that's my final comment on this show, guys. Have you got anything more to share?
I wanted to thank Stephen for coming on. I came on here completely against you, and let me tell you why. Because one time you had the
again, Will. One time
one time you had all the Griftbusters on, or no, you had M on, and you're like, I love the Griftbusters. You got M, of course. You got Intel Lady, you got Justice, and you got the other guy.
I apologize. Yeah, I'm terrible with names. No, and you know, live show, you don't have notes sometimes. You go off of memory.
Steven,
today, I just put Intel Lady on a panel with me that she wasn't on. You know?
honestly.
Well, hey, you can come on my show whenever you want. I would love to have you.
Yeah, Steven and the other guy. I got you.
Yeah. No, I'll put your name on the poster and everything.
I'm just kidding. I made it a big deal with him too because he was on the panel, and I was like, "You let him call me the other guy."
I didn't let him. I kept saying, "Will from Cold Beer for Confessional, talk about him." Obviously, when you're live, you don't look at your comments, do you? And I was like, "Oh, keep talking about what you know. Say, hey, Will from the Meat Hammers are here." And
yeah, but in my defense, that was a weird stream like this one where we had all these technical weird problems, and I was converting videos while we were waiting for him to play them on the show because something was weird with my.
You got other guide for months because of that. Honestly,
yes, I'm the host of Truthseekers. I'm the other guy. You can call me that forever. You can go that host from Truthseekers, the other guy.
Will's an integral part of Griftbusters. He's
it was just it was a mental brain fart, and I couldn't remember. You know, I'd watched a bunch of them. You know,
no, I'm just messing with you.
So the other guy, Beer Man.
Yeah,
Will from Cold Beer Confession. I'm glad you brought that up because that's quite a trivial point, Will. But it is quite funny. It's quite funny.
And it's a reminder that names are important, and I shouldn't forget them. So you're absolutely right for busting my balls. That's fine.
I think it was well deserved.
Probably.
Jen, Justice, anything to share before we wrap this one up?
I think Justice needs to share something, please. I've done enough talking.
It was a wonderful chat. I enjoyed that one. It was nice hearing Stephen's input there. So good show, guys. Enjoyable.
Yeah, excellent show, guys. Please tune in next time, which will be the first Wednesday of every month at what time, Intel Lady?
9 p.m. UK time.
Not if I have anything to do with it.
Unless we have technical difficulties, which we did this time round. It was a great show. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, all the audience, for joining us. Please, I will update the description if it's not already updated with all of our links to all of our channels. And go check them out, and go check Stephen Cambian out if you haven't seen him before and you haven't seen his content. I hope you've got a taster for some of the stuff he's grift busting, and he is a grift buster in his own right. He deserves more than a Wardy Award. Glad to have him. And I hope you can have you on again. Actually.
Yeah, anytime.
And with that, I will say goodbye, and I look forward to Griftbusters 9. I'll see you all there.
It's been a pleasure.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Hello, Patriots. Right, listen up. I've just heard from my line manager, Fraudy, that Paul, that horrible Paul guy, you know, the Seeker of Truth, whose real name is Paul, is coming back with the Griftbusters on the first Wednesday of every month at 9 p.m. UK time. Well, I'm not having that. I've already warned him to stay away. I've already warned him to shut that, to zip it, and he's not zipping it, so I'm going to have to come down hard, aren't I? So me and my team of Navy SEALs are going to be knocking on his door at 8:59 p.m. and we're gonna stop this. It's not happening. We're not doing Griftbusters. It's not gonna happen on the first Wednesday of every month at 9 p.m. I'm gonna be there with my team on his doorstep. Don't you worry. I'm coming for you, Paul. I'm coming for you.